This is why I didn't buy Iman Gadzhi's Educate course, and why you probably shouldn't either. This is coming from someone who bought the Agency Navigator course a while back in the first place. That was Iman Gadzhi's first course that he released. Now, for those who don't know me, my name's Gavin, and I run an email and SMS marketing agency called Inbox, and we are pretty consistently doing about 20 to 23K a month. So let me talk about my first experience with Iman Gadzhi's world, essentially. I bought his Agency Navigator course when I was first starting out. Like, I had 0 clients, 0 bitches. The thing that appealed to me was not the course material, but the community of people in the course, or so I thought. But what I also noticed with Iman Gadzhi's course is he's not really selling the education, he's selling the lifestyle that the education is supposed to bring you. Now, let me talk a little bit about the education itself. The material in Agency Navigator was okay, and I'll give the team credit to keep up in such a fast-moving space such as SMMA and educate people for the price that that course was, which was $1,000, is hard. More often than not, you can create a strategy, create a course around it, and then in the SMMA space, which moves so fast, in about 2 to 3 weeks, it can be completely outdated. Cold email, for example. A subject line works when you're doing cold email. Next minute, you tell people about it, and then 1,000 other users are using it, and ta-da, it no longer works because the originality has worn off. So the course material in Agency Navigator was okay, right? Like, honestly, I probably could have learned everything I did just on YouTube, but I will also say there's something to be said for having all of that information bundled up and saving time. But if I'm honest, I was not overly impressed with the course material. Like, pretty basic stuff, and it doesn't really teach you how to grow a business. It just teaches you how to get one client, and not in a very good way at that. But the reason I bought the course was because of the connections I thought I would make, right? But here's the thing. In the Agency Navigator Facebook community page, and I'm assuming in the Educate space as well, a lot of people in the group are young boys who are really looking for very, very basic advice and are in that I've just started kind of bucket. And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that, and there is absolutely a space for that. But I was sold the idea with at least Agency Navigator that I was going to be doing tens of thousands of dollars of revenue, and that was not the case, right? If you're doing tens of thousands of dollars of revenue, that community is not where you want to be, because you're not really learning anything from anybody still in that area. Agency Navigator is going to teach you how to get your first client in a pretty lackluster way, and that's about it, right? You're gonna learn a bit of stuff about how to stay motivated, and maybe here's my daily routine, but beyond that, you're not gonna learn how to set up systems and processes for a business, scale an agency. It's not really there. The one thing I felt like that was a cherry on top for me as well with my experience with Agency Navigator was not only that the course material was light, but was near the end with my check-in calls. So for those that don't know, Agency Navigator, what they were doing was, I think it was like once a month, they would have a check-in call with your coach. The coach really doesn't really know what they're doing. They're supposed to give you guidance on how to grow your agency, but the advice is all incredibly generic, right? Do more outreach, send more cold emails, nothing beyond that, right? Now, they found out that I think at about this point I was doing roughly 10K a month in revenue, and I was asked to jump on a call with a guy called John Danes. I didn't really know who that was or what the call was actually going to be about, but I think they were just, they framed it in a way where they were gonna say, hey, we just wanna get some of your feedback, right? And I was more than happy to give my feedback, because if I was honest, I wasn't really getting a whole lot of value from the course. At least it wasn't cracked up to be as much as I thought it was going to be. And I get into the call, and I found out that this was actually a recorded interview with John, in which I was actually acting as a case study for how effective Agency Navigator actually was. And like I just said, I wasn't super pleased with the value I got from Agency Navigator. In that call, John was asking me questions like, before Agency Navigator, how much were you making? And after Agency Navigator, how much were you making? Now, they were trying to frame it in a way that felt like they were attributing my success to that course. And if I'm being honest, the course probably, God, I don't think it really helped me that much, but the way that interview was framed was to claim that, okay, before Agency Navigator, after. You therefore got to 10K a month in revenue as a result of being in the Agency Navigator program. Awesome, it's because of Agency Navigator. It's not the case, right? Like, correlation does not always equal causation. And it just felt weird. Like, I wasn't informed that was going to be the case. It felt slimy, and that kind of framed my perception of just like that world and what was being sold to me going forward. So off of the back of that, I just felt like buying the Educate course was just not worth it. Even though they were offering me a discount with having been in the Agency Navigator course, I just didn't feel like any of the other courses that they were going to give me were going to provide any value, right? I want to give you guys a tip just in terms of like the course world and the education space, especially in making money online. The courses that you buy are only going to take you so far in business. Like, the reality is, when it comes to running a successful company, practical experience is going to beat theoretical knowledge 100% of the time. Odds are, if you're watching this video and you're on the fence about buying another course, you probably already have the knowledge you need to get your first client, right? And if you already have your first or second or third client, you probably don't need the courses that are being sold to you for $1,000. Odds are you're actually gonna need some proper coaching, and those courses are really just gonna try and, what they're selling you is confidence, not actually knowledge. It's perceived sense of confidence and self-assurance, because you're gonna do this course and think, yay, I'm ready. But then you're gonna get to the actual business side of things, and then you're not gonna feel ready. And I have a tip for you. You're probably never gonna feel ready. And a course is only gonna help you get so far. My honest feedback for you would be, if you're thinking about buying the education program, just spend some time on YouTube. Save your money, just start, get some practical experience, and then move into the business side of things before actually spending the money on the course side of things. The courses, what they can do, and I'm not bashing on courses overall, is they can speed things up. But I don't think anything that you're actually gonna learn in Educate is gonna really push you forward more than what you could gain just by sitting down, studying yourself, and getting started.